I did spend a lot of time talking about how Angular and Ionic work together, but it is super important to understand that and to be aware of how the two parts do work together. Now it's time to get our hands dirty. We do have that home component here as a default, and I will actually delete that and build an app from scratch. Now for that, I'll open a new tab in my terminal. The other tab should be kept open because this process needs to be kept running. It will automatically watch your code for changes and rebuild and reload the app when it changes. In the second window, we can now use the Angular CLI to generate components. So with ng generate component or shortcut nggz, you can generate a new component in your app. You can also do this by hand, but this of course is faster. Now I want to build a very simple recipe book implementation. I basically want to have a list of recipes, and if we tap one, we can view the details about this recipe. Therefore, I'll add a new component, which I'll call recipes. However, I want to load this as a page. So I want to basically use the Angular router to replace the entire content of the current page, of what we currently see on the page, with the content of this component. Now, obviously, pages in Angular are just components, but we can also use the Ionic CLI to generate it. Ionic generate. And then if we hit enter, you can actually select from different things you can build. You can also build a component there, and under the hood, this just uses ng generate, but you do have a special page element you can select here. So I will choose page, and then I'll give it a name, which is recipes. And this now executes ng generate page recipes. This is a new command added by Ionic, so that's another part where it kind of adjusts the default behavior of the Angular project. And it gives us this recipes folder. And now the special thing is the naming here, and that it automatically gives us a module which sets up a route for this recipes page so that we can load the entire module lazily. And actually, it even adjusted the app routing module already to include the path recipes, where it does include lazy loading for that recipes module. So that's very convenient. We get lazy loading for our pages out of the box with this command, which is why I'll use it for the creation of new components that will be used as pages. Now I did delete the home component, so I will also delete that path in the routing setup, so that I only have that root path where I now want to redirect to recipes, and then the recipes path where I do have my lazy loading in place that points at the recipes page module, which should be loaded when we try to reach that path here. And in the recipes module, we simply render the recipes page component. The recipes page component is a normal Angular component though, and we can use it as a normal Angular component. In the recipes page HTML file, we get this set up out of the box by Ionic. We got our ion header with a toolbar and a title. I'll set the title to recipes. And we have the ion content with some padding added to it. I'll get rid of it for now and add a paragraph where I say recipes page works. Now this page is loaded through the Angular router. As you can tell, we're using the normal Angular router module here in the app routing module, and that is then included here in the app module. So nothing special there. One special thing can be seen in the app component though. There we have that ion app wrapper, which I mentioned should be there around your entire application, and therefore the root component of our application, of course, is the right place to include it. And in there we have this ion router outlet. Now that is interesting, because in a normal Angular app, we would have just a router outlet. Now let's go with a router outlet and save all files. And then back here, the home path doesn't exist anymore, so let's reload the main path. It loads recipes. And I see recipes here at the bottom now. So this doesn't look right, does it? The reason for that is the way we load this. The router outlet can be used theoretically because, again, and I will hammer this into your head, this is a normal Angular project, and therefore we can use normal Angular features like Angular's routing. But to get nice page transitions and the page being displayed correctly on the screen, which requires things like the CSS height consumption of the page being set to 100% and so on. To get all of that, you should use the ion router outlet, which in the end wraps the Angular router outlet and adds some extra stylings and features. And when you do that, as this page reloads, you will see that all of a sudden, this looks correct. So both works, but Ion Router Outlet is built to be used with Ionic-driven pages. So with Angular components that create an Ionic page by having a header, a content, and so on. So Ion Router Outlet it is. We'll use Ion Router Outlet in this course, therefore.